Coming up on today's wrestling news, Eva Marie teases a WWE return with Bray Wyatt. WWE allegedly offered Paige, or Saraya, a new deal in August before she went to AEW. Former WWE superstars made an appearance on AEW Rampage last night, and a World Championship match has been added to next week's Dynamite. I'm Adam Wilborn.
I'm Michael Hamflet.
And this is the news. That's right, News Daddy isn't here, so I've got a different daddy because someone needs to keep me calm on a Friday, although let's be honest,
what I'm here for.
Allegedly.
Oh,
but we have to start off with this story, so it's not a great start. Yep, you heard me right. Eva Marie has teased a return to WWE. That's bonkers enough as it is. Yep. She returned, November, I think, last year?
November 2020. And
that was it, yeah,
back on the scene in 2021.
Yes, she teased it in November last year, then he came in June with the DJ, and then soon left. Mm-hmm. Anyway, last night on just all of her social medias, she posted a video where she was doing a sort of three-pointer basketball shot with a Lily doll, which read, what's it exactly? If I make this, I'm going back to WWE. No. She throws it sort of bounces off the lid of the bin, it bounces off the edge of the bin, you're like, oh, is it going? Is it not? Then Bray Wyatt's symbol appears. Blah, blah, blah. He's tagged in it as well, along with like Fox and a few others. This is a weird story to walk into work to, Michael Hamflet.
It's sort of amazing, isn't it? Because I dare say that occasionally on the internet you are accused of being hyperbolic or dressing up stories that maybe need a little bit of set dressing or decoration. Everything we're saying is true. That's not to say that Eva Marie is coming to SmackDown tonight, and we don't want that hanging around our necks if and when she doesn't appear as a member of the Wyatt Six.
Always the original Sister Abigail right here.
This legend. But it's really fun. Like, I can't deny how impressive this tease is, even if it's a troll. I really recommend everybody go and watch this, because we sat and watched this together this morning. I'd watched it a couple of times already, but as it sort of circles the rim of the kitchen bin, which I mean speaks to, like, my word, Bray Wyatt's old character circled the rim of the kitchen bin for a long time. The quick cut to the new Wyatt logo.
Excellent work.
Kind of gripping.
Yeah.
So, probably not, but like what we always say in wrestling, you just want the 1% of doubt.
Exactly. And I mean, obviously we saw all the tweets, right? It's like, oh, this is going to be Baron Corbin or Grayson Bloody Waller or whoever it may be, Dexter Loomis. No one said Eva Marie. No one said Eva Marie and Sister Abigail. So, I think tonight's SmackDown, as a result of this, is going to do 10 million viewers probably.
All dead, everything.
Yeah.
Goth stuff. Huh?
All dead, brilliant. It is also the return of one of the biggest stars in wrestling to our screens. LA Knight, Bray Wyatt's going to be there too. Right, let's give you a little bit of an update as well on that whole Saraya thing I mentioned, formerly known, of course, as Paige in WWE. Really interesting report coming out about this from Fightful, saying that apparently WWE offered her a chance to return in August. They'd obviously been paying her, hadn't they?
Yes.
Although the report actually gives us a few things here. Vince McMahon and John Laurinaitis, remember them? They decided not to renew her WWE contract when it expired in July. Apparently the money she was making on that contract was said to be, quote, surprisingly low, and they were sort of limiting her as well with her sort of outside ventures outside of WWE. Then there comes this quote. Triple H's new regime did make efforts to get Saraya back in the fold, and everything we've heard points to a positive relationship between those two sides, with Triple H being shocked her deal wasn't renewed by the previous regime. We're told by those familiar with the situation that Saraya was actually offered the GM position by the new WWE regime about a month after her deal was not renewed. That obviously put it in August. That was a spot she held for years. That was a spot she held years ago. Remember? And then they came in and went, yeah, sorry, love, out you go. Because Shane McMahon's here or something. And they also said if she wanted to make a return to in-ring competition, they, quote, would make that happen. So it sounds like, you know, had Triple H taken over months prior to this, maybe we wouldn't have Saraya being all elite.
Yeah, we're in it's strange, isn't it? We're in the never say never era of wrestlers that are seemingly injured and retired.
Yeah.
Then making the comeback. And Paige,
which is great to see.
It's fantastic. And Paige had teased a couple of times that was maybe going to happen within WWE. The weirdest element of the story to me is why Vince McMahon and John Laurinaitis, before both resigned in horrific disgrace, thought that it was always a no. What was it about Paige or now Saraya that they deemed unworthy of return to the ring? Because clearly Triple H saw it straight away. She's always been an in-demand figure. The EGAP when she arrived in AEW Dynamite spoke to that. And obviously everybody's excited about the prospect of her wrestling again, and AEW is smart to tease that out.
Yeah.
Like Britt Baker feels like a money match that they've already got landed in their lap. Yeah, it's clearly something Triple H is going to feel like is a big loss, but it's, I guess, how much AEW can make it a gain while she's there. If she's back wrestling and properly on the market, as we've seen now, everybody's on the market, so doors clearly haven't been slammed in anyone's face here.
Yeah, exactly, and the fact that they say, we will make that happen, clearly, medically stuff had presumably gone on where they were like, yeah, probably she can, ease her back into it, but she probably can wrestle at the end of it. Obviously, with any of these stories, whether it's someone who's been told they're never going to wrestle again, like a Daniel Bryan or a Saraya, or someone who has a horrific injury, like Big E, for example, we always sit here and say, obviously, if you could wave a magic wand and they just had a perfectly fixed body, you'd love that, and then they'd be wrestling tomorrow. People need to come back to the ring as and when they're ready, and sometimes not come back to the ring if the doctor says, I know you really want to get back in there, but you can't because of neck stuff or whatever it may be. But yeah, it just strikes me that I with a lot of things over the past few months, I've been like, it's. I don't want to heap too much praise on him because it's just like, yeah, that's the obvious thing. But Triple H just coming in and going, wait, why aren't we doing this, this, and this?
A lot of the obvious takes proved immediately true, didn't they? Like, for years and years and years, we always try and keep a distance. Say, look, we're on the outside, we don't know. But it turns out most people did.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of stupid stuff was happening and everybody didn't know exactly why that was and what easy it was to fix it.
Mad old bastard, basically. But let's continue, because speaking of AEW taking talent that WWE allegedly wants.
Spoilers, we should say. Rampage
Oh, yes.
last night, but not aired as we record this.
Very good point. Couple of Rampage stories now. Right, if you want to skip ahead to the questions, and trust me, stick around for them. There's timestamps, of course, always in the description. But yes, a couple of spoilers from last night's Rampage. One coming from the brilliant John Pollock. On this news, it's about no bollocks, just Pollock. Pollock tweeting last night that Mike Bennett and former WWE superstars Mike Bennett and Maria Kanellis, and of course the brilliant former ROH champion Matt Taven, showed up at the end of the AEW Rampage tapings in Toronto, which is interesting enough as it is, because Tony Khan just loves signing people, obviously, but also because we were reporting just the other day that, WWE seemed to be liking the idea of a Bennett Kanellis return and bringing the likes of Matt Taven in as well.
Yeah, it's strange, this. So I think there's one or two things happened here. This is maybe some lost in translation reporting earlier in the week, and they were putting their names out there, but in fact it was going to be to generate a bit more buzz around and surprise. They're of course working together with Impact at the moment as the Honor No More stable, so there's this Ring of Honor link anyway that was raising flags about, well, could they just feature in Tony Khan's new Ring of Honor, which is why the WWE news became more surprising. Or, and let's be honest, right now in the way that the landscape is, this is a lot more fun. The bait has been thrown out there from somebody within WWE and AEW, and based on Tony Khan's form, this feels possible and just fun. To be like, now we'll have them actually. Thanks so much. Scoop. Take out, I was okay, no, okay. It's like a shop back with wrestling talent. David Wallace designed off the office. Wrestlers, please. So it's one or the other.
Yeah.
Like maybe they were just shopping the names about and the story's been muddied or whatever.
Yeah.
It's quite fun to imagine they were tossed out as bait. And it was just, well, maybe we'll have a look at them. And then on the other side of the divide, somebody's gone, no, you won't, we're having them.
Yeah.
Like this, we don't know if this is a deal. We should point out this is the main appearance. AEW have brought people in on per wrestle deals or have done one-offs and things like that. So this is not to say they've signed like 5-year contracts or anything.
No.
But it's interesting. It's happened this week.
And I'm particularly happy for the Bennett Kanellis. She's gone. Yeah. Oh my God.
Does that mean she landed in the bin?
If she's
in the bin, does that mean Eva Marie's debuting tonight? Can we break that?
Official. Weak or no signal. Are you weak with no signal?
That's the start of the Bray Wyatt promo tonight.
I'm scared what's going to come from that screen now.
WWE wrestlers are weaker with no signal.
But for some reason, this does remind me. I'm really happy. Sorry, I was going to say for the Bennett Kanellis, because I think they're great. And what a story Mike Bennett is! I can't believe that WWE just went now. Like, it's an incredible redemption arc that he's had. Maria Kanellis is just great, of course.
Very
Matt
popular
Taven
figure
too.
amongst the Impact Women's division, apparently.
Indeed.
And Ring of Honor as well. Sorry, so. Like, you would think any positive presence in that division, in particular in AEW, would be a huge benefit.
But it does remind me a little bit of do you remember the Alexis Sanchez transfer?
Yeah.
Where Man City were like, we're going to sign Alexis Sanchez. Man United were like, no, we'll have him.
We want him.
So yeah, we'll keep you up to date on any developments with that. But AEW may finally have some competition for the massive ratings draw that is Tony D'Angelo. Obviously, they're going head-to-head with NXT next week, the Tuesday Night Wars. And they've announced another title match. Yeah, you got John Moxley versus Hangman Rampage. That'll probably be quite a good wrestling match, I suppose. But never mind all that bollocks, because the real match that I cannot wait for, Chris Jericho, the Ocho, is defending the Ring of Honor World title against Dalton Bloody Castle.
Yeah.
A huge favourite in this WhatCulture office, particularly you and I, who obviously saw him over WrestleMania weekend and just think he's fantastic.
Yeah, he Dalton Castled for his life that night in the online on Tony Khan's first Ring of Honor show. Yeah. Jericho said obviously he's going to work through Ring of Honor World Champions, and it was, to be honest, it kind of felt like Bryan Danielson would be the end of that story rather than the very beginning.
First one.
Out of the way, get Danielson out of the way. But Castle's a great shout. Like, instantly when you kind of go down that list, there are obviously some super hard hitting matches, some quite unique matches, some wrestlers that might have to come out of semi-retirement. Dalton Castle is not, it's sort of like debated his gimmick a bit to just say another Chris Jericho, but this should be an awful lot of fun. He will play to Jericho's wacky side for sure.
He is a hell of a character. If you've never seen him before, go and check him out and then come back and thank us, because
I would love Jericho to sell the threat of Dalton Castle to the boys and be like, well, it's no choice, I'm going to have to be the Painmaker. And like those people, like the combating forces.
I've also just thought, I kind of don't want it to go down on Dynamite on Tuesday because I need time to build up, but I assume there's going to be a road to.
Yeah.
I want some sort of showdown between the boys and our boys, 2.0 Daddy Match and Cool Hand.
Yes. Just Matt Menard screaming, boys!
I think NXT might
Eyes wide.
I think NXT might not actually win it on Tuesday.
NXT might be in trouble in this Tuesday Night War.
Yeah.
Well, you know, AEW kind of like showing themselves a takeover-like show for a Tuesday TV special.
And good for them. The little engine that could. Right, let's move on to your Twitter questions at WhatCulture WWE. Obviously, it's Friday. It's Wacky Friday. But I thought I'd ease you into it with a genuinely great question
We're
here.
normally like 3-4 hours into the middle of the night when you start sucking jellies on stream, so this is a lot for a Friday morning, I've got to say.
Pete Thriller starts us off. Thank you for this question. You get to have a full hour one-on-one interview with any current wrestler, but you first have to take their finishing move in the ring. Which wrestler are you choosing to interview?
I've got it, right? So the interview these days, the interview game, it's all about content, it's all about numbers, isn't it, right? But equally, we can't go. We've never taken bumps in our life. I don't want to feel pain.
No.
I've got the perfect answer to both. Danhausen, and I want to get cursed.
Oh!
That's what I do. The numbers for the thumbnail, for the interview, for the
chat. Great to chat to.
But I think I can survive a curse. I don't want to guarantee it, but maybe. I think I can.
Like, legendary one, obviously I'm going to go with The Rock because the people's elbow doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
Neither does the Rock Bottom by the looks of
Jim
things.
Ross screaming right into Adam Wilborn's black hat.
Yeah. But, and I also want him to do the one where he slides when he's got the shoes and the sunglasses on, British Bulldog. But, current one, person I'd love to chat to, first of all, that I've never got the chance properly to sit down and talk to, and also because I don't think their finishing move hurts that much, Will Ospreay. Right, let's move on to the second question. Hidden Blade. It doesn't look like it hurts that much, does it?
It's a great question, isn't it? Because you think, like, I'd love a long-form chat with Adam Cole. Cut to you getting, like, a last shot in the back of the head in a panel or something.
No, thank you.
Cool. I'll have my interview from the hotel.
The interview would just be like, you're right. No.
Eating through a straw.
Right, second question today comes from Dad Bloop, who says, good morning, legends. Who out of the following 10 food mascots would win in a battle royal?
Love this.
Colonel Sanders, Wendy, the Burger King, Ronald McDonald, Little Caesar, the little guy with the pizza, Jack from Jack in the Box, the Hamburglar, Mayor McCheese, Grimace, or Tom Tom from Panda Express.
Oh, right, if it was WWE under Vince McMahon, the Hamburglar, because he'd steal one.
Right, good.
I'm going to roll up, obviously. I got to go with early days Ronald McDonald.
Really?
You know, before they cleaned up the gimmick. So if you Google, like, original Ronald McDonald, he's like, oh, kids, you want a burger? He's a dangerous guy. He's the Fiend.
Yeah.
He's the Fiend of the fast food
The original
world.
Fiend.
Yeah. So I'd have to go with OG Ronald.
I certainly would book it so that the last two still in the ring would be the King, the Burger King, and Ronald McDonald.
Yeah.
And I think it'd get
They're
the
pointing
pop.
at the sign, aren't they?
It'd get the pop that WWE wanted to get when Orton and Cena went, one more time, and everyone went, no. But people that actually want it, I'm going to go with the King.
Yeah.
Or maybe Colonel Saunders because he could do like, do you remember when Edge beat Batista or Edge beat The Undertaker? Or no?
With the edge heads.
Yeah.
He's got two colonels.
Multiple colonels.
Ric Flair and Dolph Ziggler, no? I don't know, it's Colonel Sanders.
Miz comes in dressed as a chicken to help out.
See, double here, 6 colonels.
We've given him an idea for WrestleMania now.
Yeah.
And I'd watch it. I'd love it.
It's yours, Triple H.
Final question from Matt Wood. Unfortunately, I can't be here for this. I'm just going to have to nip out because he says this is a question for Stacks. Do you want to explain about Stack? Because this is a podcast gimmick that's going to come into the news now. I'll go and get him.
Yeah, you go get Stacks.
Stacks!
So yeah, we've been very fortunate to be blessed with WWE superstar Stacks from NXT 2.0. He joins us on the podcast. You can listen to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts, on Apple's podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, all that sort of good stuff. He joins us for SmackDown reviews, previews, all that kind of thing. And he just adds a bit of insight from the locker room and indeed from his own personal life. Is he there, Wilborn?
Hey guys!
Hey, Stacks!
It's me, Stacks! I'm sure wearing the same jumper that Adam was wearing. He's just got to nip out and do something news related.
You get along with Adam so well.
Indeed. So Matt Wood asks us a goddamn question. He says, with Tony D choosing your opponent, who would you least like to face? Also, Stacks, do you got any spooky jokes? Well, I got some jokes, but first of all...
I'm nervous doing this on camera, Stacks.
First of all, I am the assistant of Tony. What's going on, boys? Right? And, who would I least like to face? You can pick your choice, but I am gonna pick Gunther because of current company, of course.
Well, he's very handsome.
But also, I hope he'd get on with it. I'd say to him, hey, Gunther, chop, chop. It's the way I tell him. Who would you like to see me face on Tuesday night?
Who do I want to see you face?
Yeah.
Roman Reigns. And this specific Tuesday, because the Tribal Chief doing away with AEW, one of AEW's bigger dynamites of 2022, would be incredible for the discourse. Like, imagine Stacks having to stand there for 15 minutes. Roman, whole bloodline backing him.
I'm working a part-time schedule. I'll work Tuesday night, okay.
Do you think you could, Tony's still out, isn't he?
He is, he's got a PCL problem. Get well soon, Tony.
How would you feel about being Sami Zayn's assistant? You're like the assistant to the General J.
I mean, I would never cheat on the family, one of the most respected stables with 2 members in WWE right now, in all of wrestling. But, oh my God, I would love to be part of the bloodline. Right? You wanted spooky jokes, man? What? I got your spooky jokes right here.
Yep.
Michael Hamlin.
Uh-huh.
You know what a skeleton's favorite instrument is?
Is it the trombone?
It's a trombone, baby!
That's the way he tells them.
You know what spooky stuff I don't really like vampires. You know that? Not a fan of the old vampire. You know why?
Why is that, Stacks?
They're a pain in the neck! It's the way I tell them. Finally, I got a knock joke for you. You want to be a not part of this? Okay? Hey, Hamlin. Knock, knock.
Who's there, Stacks?
Boo.
Boo-hoo.
Hey, don't cry, it ain't Halloween yet, boy! It's the way I...
Crikey.
More of this on podcast later. Yep, WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcast from. See you guys!
Bye, Stacks.
Oh, I've just missed him.
Wilborn,
just missed him.
You miss him on the podcast all the time. He's back on Tony D Airlines now. You could maybe catch him in the parking space we've got from outside.
Yeah,
the
helipad.
The helipad, the plane pad that drops directly from the sky.
Right, finally, just want to say a massive thank you as part of today's ad, finally, to the brilliant Mark Lee Willis, who made the spooky QR code that you may have seen on social media yesterday. I love it when our viewers, our listeners, our fans make mad stuff for us, but this was particularly amazing. It told you that Andy Murray opened up a thing that said Andy's not going to be there on Friday, but send your wacky questions to Wilborn. So thank you once again for that. And enjoy Eva Marie on SmackDown tonight, I suppose. Being Sister Abigail or Abby the Witch.
Yeah. What's Liv Morgan going to
I suppose the good thing about this is there'll definitely not be any weird sexual stuff on the internet about this today.
Yes, absolutely nothing can possibly go wrong in the comment section today as a result of this news.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right, get sexual in the comments. Like, share, subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling wherever you get your podcasts from for daily wrestling podcasts. And on Twitter we are at WhatCulture WWE. You can follow Michael Hamflett on Twitter at...
Don't get sexual in the comments at Michael Hamflett. That's going to end up being a catchphrase.
Yeah.
Get sexual in the comments.
You can follow Keenan
That's the new like, share, subscribe.
Hang on, one for Friday because I'm off next week. I'm at Adam Wilborn. He's, I think, Channing Lorenzo on Twitter.
Yeah. Don't tag him.
At WhatCulture WWE for all of us. My thanks to Andy. He's not here, but thanks Andy. Thanks, Andy.
Thanks for making this so great.
He's Aberdeen, he's not dead.
You ruin it on a Friday. Appreciate
Thanks to Michael Hamflett as well. Thank you for joining us. Thanks to our editor, Adam Nicholas, who's had to suffer through all of this. And we will see you soon.